Hey guys. Um, it seems we continue to transition, and it's seemingly things are improving, getting better, and that distance that we've needed for so very long is, I think, finally beginning to manifest, beginning to show up. There's a growing amount of peace here. It seems like there's a stillness that's growing. And of course, words of the day, going the way of the day, and without the other, without the forces of darkness, shadow, or night. Just going the way of the day, being day, surrounded by day, in our daylight here. And of course, heaven keeps us in a good place. The Father's house, covered in that good stuff that keeps out all the bad stuff, makes us actually repellent to all the stuff that is the enemy and the bad energies, those things that are not a good vibration. Yeah, it is. Things have changed some. Now, I will ask, and before I move on, I'll just say that in the name of the Prince of Peace, our Father who art in heaven, amen. Um, but I was just basically stating what's been going on, what keeps being reaffirmed to me, and which is making me really happy. To be day without the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm always happier like that. I'm always happier in a higher place, in a higher vibration. Um, Sky, this color blue. Then almost every color blue I like. So, and I can't say there's a color blue I don't like, really. So I guess it's all that's blue I do like. Hold on. Okay. Um, well, I would say that the stalker was still stalking, uh, even yesterday, and was doing that flyby type of thing early in the day. So we went ahead and prayed about it, and the rest of the day, they weren't around. Now today, though, instead of the standard airplane that is normally flown, there was some loud, choppy. It sounded like a little teeny tiny helicopter, maybe, and it was being, I don't even think that's housed down here at the local airport. I think that's across the river, a dozen miles down the road. Um, so I don't know what that was doing here, buzzing around, but we prayed about that. And but things seem to still be improving in certain areas, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful, and I say thank you to everyone who is loyal to the day and all that is helping and all that is sincerely loving. Um, now, as far as the evil goes, whatever, the stalker, I don't know what their deal is. I'm not able to tune into it. It's like I've seen it on the screen making claims about something. I don't know whatever. But the spirit's like, no, you cannot click on that. So it's like, just trying to let it go, because all I can say is if they're not going to force us against our will and to uh, being with them in any way, shape, or form, then I'm real happy about that too, that we can move on from that and do just day things without the other stuff, you know. That'll be good. I saw today a thing where the people talking on it was a clip from Peterson, Jordan, and he was making reference to the Jungian theories about facing your shadows and like the hero's journey and all this, which is basically an internal struggle. Um, and again, that goes back to all these people with their healing journeys and bullshit like that. which is a bunch of garbage. It's all they're all in psychology. They talk about being spiritual, but then they're all rooted in this psychological terminology, this hero's journey horse shit, which we went past that a long damn time ago. Long damn time ago. It's like, picture Luke in the tree and he chops the face off or the head off of that guy or whatever, and then faces down another 1,000 bastards to what the hell? So I see, which again led me back to the thought of one of these, seemingly well-meaning individuals out there talking about how, it's really, really important to balance your darkness with your light, and your light with your darkness, and like you're looking for some mixture, like you're actually endeavoring to have a balance between your good part and your evil, because that's what it comes down to, kiddies. And that's the theory that they're pushing. So balance, what do you mean balance? Again, you see that yin yang sign? That is not something that is sustainable. That's you reached a point where things are going to start going one way or the other. And it doesn't mean they're going to go all the way one way or the other. It might be they go so much one way, but then turn around and go back the other way, which is what's going on now. But again, it's not a psychological thing. It's just spiritual. There's no psychological issues. Psychological issues are spiritual issues. They're just shadows that are with you. They're not you. You're not supposed to accept them. You're not supposed to incorporate them. Those are things that are unto themselves. They're to the night. They're creatures of the darkness. It's not you. That's just a a lie. That's where everybody gets messed up, like with anger. And they say, like, oh, the lie has a dark side because it can tear stuff down or do damage or harm, or as Peterson said, you could do terrible things. Well, terrible things usually are destructive in my definition. Harmful, painful, destructive, which is a mark of the darkness. Just because it's light doesn't mean that and builds, and that's their nature, and heals, and that's their nature, doesn't mean that the other isn't possible. It's just regarding what, how, and when. It's of course, light commands darkness. It just doesn't normally have any need of darkness because it doesn't want darkness, and it's a whole different mindset, So, but I digress, don't I? What I digress from, I'm not sure. I will say that our mood has improved, and plus also our outlook. And there's I've seen where people are talking about the many possibilities that are presenting themselves, and it is the same old story. As we get better and more functional, capable, and able, then all doors open before us. That's all. It's just how are we being limited or not limited? That's how that goes. Again, that's why they talk about how when you're advancing and this and leveling up, and like you're becoming something, you're evolving, and da 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 da, blah 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 blah, as though you're on this journey of some merit and value that's being run by your goddamn enemies for their own profit, right? No, I don't. I guess it's not that. No, I know I'm simply returning to being more as I was supposed to be. And after that, of course, after hitting that one specific level, then we're advancing on those other levels. We'll complete the goals list. It's probably inscribed within somewhere. But yeah, I know you gotta have heart. That's sort of like the other Rubber Plant song, I think. Saw Dick Van Dyke again recently, just last couple of days, and he's always worth mentioning. Because whenever you look back through it, there's been certain performers at different times who have exhibited the hey, I'm on the side of the day, sunshine kind of way, and accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. And they lived it. They weren't running around saying Jesus this or Jesus that, but they certainly were being of good cheer, being upright, righteous, and doing what they could to raise the vibration, such as Dick Van Dyke. And his performances were all like that, and his interviews were all positive. And, there's certainly, who was it I was seeing? It was Pat Boone, who was mentioning this clip of Dick Van Dyke and him, I do believe, who were singing "You Got to Have Heart," and which is really, that's the spirit, guys. Whenever, I don't know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of you that think that, well, we can fake this and pretend that, and you know what? It's a lot easier just to become it, but that usually requires help from the spirit, the actual divine, the skies above, etc. But anyway, didn't mean to preach or anything. Well, I guess I do, don't I? I guess I shall, because I don't have any choice in it. I mean, CJ was saying it one day. He's like, you've always talked about God and talked about this and did that, and you're always interested in blah, blah, and we're focused on yada, yada, yada. And it's true. It is. There's only like 3 different subjects you can talk about, 4 or 5 maybe, at max, that are the most important, pivotal, controversial, philosophically important points. And God is the major point. And the more you go, especially if you're a philosopher of any sort, who then finds out about the supernatural, of course, that changes that. You will, if you follow that course, you will find the further you go, the more and more and more and more everything it turns around, pointing to the answer being it's from this, or the answer to it is this, or in other words, the focus will always go back to our Father in heaven, Daddy or the Mother, if you're into that. But that divine feminine thing, the thing that's all black and hates men, that's not divine, guys. It's something else. You don't want that. Don't identify with that just because you're a chick. That's what lures in all the witches. It's like a Venus flytrap, only it's kind of, sort of a hateful witch trap, because it'll probably pull them in because of their anger. It won't make you powerful, and you can get those men back. Damn them to hell. So that's the way the game works with it. All right, 13 minutes in. I foresee that, it does look like we've been sort of stalled and everything here and there, but we keep making this progress that's internal. And there's a couple of them that have astutely observed correctly that there is, well, some of them think there's no limit to our upgrades and levels and stuff like that, our heights. But, there are, I do believe, well, I will say there's limitations just to remaining within a reality. Once you upgrade so far, then you will leave that reality completely behind, and you'll be up in a higher reality. In other words, you won't be functioning so much in, never mind, we don't want to get into the details of all that. But back to you got to have heart. Well, that leads me back to the cardiac patient, the roommate, whom we took in there, and they were in the ICU for several days because they just couldn't get their air up at all. They couldn't get their oxygen up. They took them out of ICU. They put them in a regular room, and I think they were in there maybe 3 days. Okay. During that time, they were helping her to get up and out of the bed and sit in a chair and do that kind of stuff, and to measure her breathing. And they had a machine on her to measure her oxygen, because it's real important to keep your oxygen up. And they say, she's saying that her heart's doing really well. It's just that her lungs, she had a little teeny touch of pneumonia. It looked like it was starting, a cold of some sort. So they got her on like a billion zillion different kinds of antibiotics, and then other things too, I'm sure, and pain medications, of course. My God, if anyone who's been through heart surgery, I think these are the people that we deserve Darvocet and Percocet and God only knows what other highly addictive barbiturate based morphine type of thing, and and they've got her on that too. But they wanted to transfer her to a long-term or extended care place. I think it was called a long-term care, so that she'd have a little bit more time to become more functional. And they just whisked her away down, 40 miles down the road or so, 50 miles down the road probably, to this place down in Portsmouth. And boy, is she not happy. She is not happy. So, guys, you probably need to say a prayer for her, because I think heart patients should probably be getting their pain medication on time, right? Every 4 hours or whatever it is, because they have pain, and we don't need them to be stressed out. Stress is not good for heart patients, is it? No, it isn't. And as a matter of fact, if I was the doctor of a heart patient, I'd say, give them this pain medication, but then also give them this whatever really super light Ativan or something, to make them smile a little bit, or at least take the edge off of being in such a stressful position. But they need your prayers. So I'm, because they're just saying, I think they're going to try to convince a social worker or something about how they can just do this at home. And I think more than anything, what they need is their pain medication to be on time, and maybe some kind of, mood enhancing drug of some sort, a happy drug of some sort. They probably need a little teeny tiny bit of that. And I pray you guys pray for that, for them. And if they receive that, at least that kind of love. And that they can remain more peaceful and calm. Because I don't know how easily they could get out of there. I can't just go in there and say, oh, I'm here to just take them out. Whenever they need a whole bunch of oxygen and tubing and probably maybe special equipment and stuff like that to take home with them. And so they're working on like trying to call a social worker or something that helped them to get in down there. And so I'm asking you guys to pray for them so that they can maintain a better mood, and so the recovery can continue on. And I'll tell you, they got some fight in them. There's a feisty one in there. Oof, my God. I think, have you ever heard hi baby kitty. Have you ever heard that term, vim and vinegar? They're all full of vim and vinegar. A little teeny tiny bit of it, to give you some get up and go, maybe it might be okay to some extent, just for a short while in your life, maybe, who knows. Of course, you know how I feel about it, but I will say that they got a lot of fight in it, that's what I see in them. They got a lot of fight in them for it. And again, they just need your prayers, and they're going to work through this, and hopefully I'll be able to fix them up with a few of the things that would make life a little bit easier for them whenever God calls me to move to whatever city I'm supposed to be moving to, because that's always been the plan, is to finally get to that point where, okay, so we're not being held down by all of that, and we can get to work and get to meet some decent, good people. You know, some of the white folks, the big white ones, we always like them. And, you know, the blue kids, we love those kids. Gosh, we love our blues. Gosh, we love our blues. Oh, blues, we love the blues. Blues, we love you. And then, of course, you know, with some of the material success and that kind of stuff that would free us in specific ways that would make it a lot easier to move about in ways that would help us to find ourselves in that ideal spot, in that ideal neighborhood, surrounded by ideal neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Well, God love you, and God keep you. Thank you very much for all that you're doing for me, and thank you for your prayers and your love and your well-wishing. It means a lot. The last few days, you know, the last few weeks, things seem to have changed more and more, where I've become, I guess, more relaxed and more rested and more me. And like, it's, again, there seems to be a different feel, as though it's more still, that there's more peace. It's really strange whenever background noise falls away and that you didn't even notice anymore, you know, because that's what an awful lot of these things you can liken them to something like that. It's something that's going on and it's going on, and you know what? You compartmentalized it in such a way so you're not having to think about it, you know. I know, hopefully, you know, we're not going to be harassed any further, although I've heard stories from some of them that are basically saying, you know, some of these people are, you know, kind of off the rocker or living in their own reality or something, and don't understand what respect is. But then I hear others saying about how, well, no, they're going to respect you now. And I'm thinking, there's maybe some of them might. But there's that one that seems to think that, you know, disrespect is the only way to go. And I can tell you the only thing they're going to get back is disrespect. It's not going to be thoughtfulness and you know, handmade presents or anything like that they'll want to open. You know, hopefully our goal is to keep things rolling along and progressing step by step, here and there, pieces coming together. That we just keep on going, and we'll get to that point where we unveil these things, and it'll all be nice, and voila, we'll take off and go to that place we've been talking about, so we can build those things we wanted to build and have that idyllic setting that we can enjoy together with me and mine. All right, guys, thanks very much. God love you. God keep you. Again, thank you so much for your prayers and all your well-wishing. And peace be upon you. May the good Lord be with you and surround you.